Hey everybody, I hope you're all having a great morning so far. Mine's been pretty good. Nothing really special except that it's actually pretty hot today. Especially with my window open, but I like to have the natural light for the stream, so I think I'll make do. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. So yesterday, well this isn't the right menu. I've been working on doing these player slots for the lobby, and yesterday I had added the systems for the lobby to start like the setup, so the lobby will either send a lobby parameters to the server or request them if we don't have them yet. Like if we're not the host, we'll have to request the lobbies from the parameters from the server. But either way, we make sure that the server is synchronized with us at the beginning, and then I think we've moved on to the input. Let's go ahead and see. I'm pretty sure I finished all that because I knew I was at a good stopping point. If we create a lobby, yeah, so now the lobby phase has moved to input. So what I need to do now is just create all the controllers for these various UI elements, and then probably I'll do, I'm not sure the best way, because we'll probably have a UI controller for each of these, and then we'll have another controller, or we'll have some system underneath it that will control how the stuff is shown, but I don't know if it'll be like a one-to-one class to each. I guess it depends how complicated each is. Okay, so what I think I'll start with, I'm just gonna clean this up by closing some folders we don't need open. Okay, so let's make a UX folder. And the UX here is going to be pretty big, so I'm tempted to make another folder here. And so we'll have one for lobby slots and one for the mod button. Or for player slots. So yeah, I think we'll do that. So players. Okay, so the first thing, I guess we can start off with this drop down. Yeah, start with that. Okay, I can think of an issue, but I guess when it gets to that, we can show it. Okay, so this will be, it's the type drop-down manager. Okay, so how do I do this? Oh, right, so it's just a flow logic container, which is how we handle the events. Yeah, let's clean up that. Setup lobby is going to kind of look... Oh yeah, so the game object registry is what we need to use. We'll grab that. And then, yeah, I guess we'll want the flow state because we'll want to know when we're in the input phase or not. I think that's... We might need some more, but for now. You don't have to worry about validating any input because the only thing that would be possible are the values that are put into the drop-down menu. So that's all we'll need there, but then we'll need the event queue to pass up to the parent class. And alright, so one other thing is that this has to implement the IUI setup, which just means it needs to be called whenever Unity has finished loading. And here is when we would actually grab the UI elements from Unity, so this should be a drop down. I'm not sure if that's what it's actually called. Okay, it is. So this will be, I guess we'll just call it drop down. This drop down equals game object registry. Okay, so this is a little interesting because we're going to be creating things on the spot, so they're going to have different names. Okay, so we're going to need... Okay, so I think we're going to need to do something different than just having a game object registry. Let me think. I mean, we could do something like this. Just be find player plus index. Oh, that's true. So these drop-down managers, there's going to need to be... Okay, so it's going to need to control each different... So this should be an array, actually. Yeah, so how do I do this? Let's see. Probably the best thing to do would just be to have a mono behavior. So we actually won't end up using the... Yeah, so this is more complicated, so it makes sense not to use the game object registry for this, I think. So we'll just have something like lobby slots. I guess registry is fine. Oh yeah, I don't need to do slots, so we'll just do... Okay, let's just do player UI registry. And this will be a mono behavior, so anything that wants this will just need to call game object find. Gosh, this music loud. And I think how I'll do it... Oh yeah, let's see. This will be like on the top level, and then it will... Okay, another thing I have to deal with also is when more slots are added and removed. So we might want to actually take care of that first. Well, let's just have this as like a prototype, and then you can see. But regardless, this will definitely want a list of some other class. So this should be player UI, components, or no, I shouldn't do that because component means something different. Elements, I think. Okay, and so this will just have a reference to a bunch of different stuff. So right now I'll just do the drop down. So type drop down. And when these are created, I'll need to make sure that they're somehow added to this list. Public list player UI elements. And then for now, I'll have this awake. Oh yeah, that need to be indented. Oh, also that's wrong. I guess this will just be items. So we want to do items, add range, find, oh wait, no. So get components and children. We want the plural version, and this will be player UI elements. And so this will get all the different player UI element components in every child. So it could be, I mean, this will be fine, just for testing. So what I want to do is on the slot UI prefab, I want to add the player UI elements mono behavior. Oops, it's not showing up, has it? Oh, it hasn't compiled yet. There we go. And I guess I'll just add the drop down while I'm here. Oh, this should do it. No, I can't do it unless we're out in this scene. Yeah, the new Unity prefab workflow looks really cool. Speaking about that, Unity did update to 2018.2 yesterday. So I went ahead and downloaded it. Nothing really in this project uses it yet, but now I feel like we can convert to one of the new scriptable render pipelines. So that will probably be the next project after we finish this lobby. So yeah, that should be fun. And also, yeah, they have a new prefab workflow. I haven't downloaded it yet just because, I don't know, I don't want to work with it if it's too cutting edge because it'll probably be buggy. But it would make doing this kind of thing a lot easier, because I don't have to drag it into the scene and apply. But now that I've done that, we can see that the player slot UI has also been updated to have that UI elements. And so here I'd want to add the UI registry, and the items will get populated when I press play. I guess we can go ahead and test that. So we can see it has this slot UI, and this has a drop down. So then in our script, I won't need the game object registry anymore. Probably won't even need this array to drop down. So I'll just keep a reference to this player UI registry. Let's see. Registry equals game object. Find object of type player UI registry. So this will just find this player UI registry object in the scene. And again, this is pretty slow, but we only are doing it once, so it's not that big of a deal. So yeah, we'll do that, and now I can easily get all the drop downs. Okay, so that's called automatically, but we do want to listen to a couple events here. So event exists listener. First, I guess the phase change event. So when this happens, we want to update the type. Wait, what happened there? Oh. Forgot the new keyword. And then we'll also want to listen to whenever the lobby parameters change. So event exists listener, lobby. Why do I need to do that? Oh, because it doesn't start with that, so it should be params changed event. So when this happens, we'd want to update. Oh yeah, basically we want to refresh the UI. Also, oh no, this class won't do that. I was gonna say this would also change whenever mods are loaded, but this class won't because I'm thinking about the AI script. Let's just call this on params change. I'll move both these down here, and I think I'll also put this above. So I think once a player has connected to a slot, I'm gonna lock down the type so you can't change it. If you wanted to change it, you would have to kick that player. Although I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Because if I kicked the player, it's the same thing as changing the type. So yeah, I'm not sure if it really matters. Yeah, so I think, let's see, so bool interactable equals registry, or not registry, flow state, which I don't even have to do that, I can just call it state. So this is only, sorry, I got something in my throat. This should only be interactable in input phase. Yeah, that's taken care of. And now I want to loop through every, well, first I should make sure the registry is not null. So if registry is not equal null, because I think this can happen depending on the way things load. But yeah, so for each player in, oh, I forgot the var keyword, so let's actually call it item. In registry items, item the drop down interactable equals interactable. Okay, and so on this parameters change, we would match the type dropdown to equal the index. Also, I guess this type dropdown, I don't really need to. Okay, I was thinking. Let me see here. So I was thinking that, actually I'm not sure what I was thinking. Sorry, I have a bunch of things going on in my head right now. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, one thing at a time. So I'm not sure if this drop down, if I should put these options in Unity or if I should add them in code. I guess it doesn't really matter that much because I don't think these will change, these options. So yeah, we'd have a player, guest, spectator, and AI. We also, I don't think I have, in the lobby parameters, I don't think I have support for a spectator yet. I think for that, I would just have another type. So yeah, we're not really going to allow spectators outside of the lobby for now because the game doesn't support it, but I think it will be useful to have the idea of a spectator in the lobby. Let me see. Okay, so let's do player. Come on. Guess. Do I want to have the... That's another thing. Maybe... Should I have a separate drop down for our guest? I think so. I mean, I guess this is just a temporary UI, so it doesn't matter that much. The player, guest, spectator, and then we'll have one more for AI. And I'll go ahead and apply this. Okay, so I'm gonna need a couple other callbacks here whenever a slot is added. I don't think we care so much if it's removed. And so this was one issue. If we wait a frame after the button is pressed, things might seem kind of... yeah, I was gonna say they might seem kind of laggish. Because, yeah, there'd be a little bit of time after you press the button before the UI would update. I don't know how visible that would be. That is one, like, drawback with this event system. Most of the time it's not that big of a deal, but sometimes you do need to be careful with the order. Okay, well, how would I take care of that? So if I really wanted to, I could just have another, like, on our queue immediate event that would be just used for the UI. And then the UI could update immediately even though the system waits until next frame. I think that would probably be the way to do it. Or even I could have just immediate callbacks. That's gonna lead to like a tangled web of code. Yeah, this kind of thing, there's not an easy answer. Probably the best thing to do is just have specific UI only events that are queued immediate, and then I'd have some other class that runs at the end of a frame that would watch for those events and then update. So we'll see about that. But I'm just thinking that, like, if we add a slot, I'd want to initialize it immediately instead of waiting. But I guess that might not be the... Well, yeah, we'll see. I'm probably getting ahead of myself. Could always just have like a callback class that this class and the class that creates the new slot could initialize from. That'd probably be the best way to do it. But anyway, so here on parameters change, we want to set the UI registry. Or we want to make sure that the types match up with the lobby parameters. So private. Ooh, what am I doing? I guess I do need a reference to the lobby parameters here. So, okay, let's see. Maybe the best way to do that is to make it so the system classes do always run before the UI classes. So maybe they can just queue all these UI events immediately. That might be the best way to do it. So let's see. If I do that, then I want this params changed event. This maybe would be for the system. And then the UI would have another version that would be queued immediate. I might not even need this one. Does that cause an error? Okay, so that would fix a little of the lag. There's still one frame, but I guess it depends when the quick events take place. So it might not even be a frame. So this might work out fine. But anyway, this UI event, okay. Let's move this around. I'll put UI in the front, or I guess UX. Okay, so anyway, this would be... Okay, I guess I still need to check if the registry has been updated yet, and I guess here, let's just rename this to refresh selected, or not even that, let's say match, because we're going to match this params. Okay. Again for each, and then what index? Okay, so I can do, wait, no, what is it? Select, no, that's not what I want. How do I set the active or currently selected object in here? So add options. Poke, no. Item image. This is like the currently selected item text, isn't it? Oh, not the item text. UI object. Select, move, on point and click, on select, on value changed. Okay, I guess it's the value. Can I set the value somewhere? There's got to be some way to do it in code. Okay, here. Okay, so now I've got to find the index. Let's have a separate object for that. So private int type to drop down index. And of course we could just do something like return our cast as int or this type to an integer, but we probably want to have better control over the order. Okay, so if it's a player, oh yeah, and this is also where we have guests separately. So I guess I can't do that. I have to actually get an index. So int slot index slots index type. Let's actually, yeah, I'm gonna need this a couple times, so. So if slot is guest, then we return okay, I'm gonna be a little lazy here and just hard code it because yeah, this is temporary. So we'll return 1. That's not what I want to do. Else return 0. And if it's a spectator, we'll return 2. I guess I don't need that break. Return 3, and if it's default, we'll just return -1 because this shouldn't ever happen. I guess I should rename that to slot. Okay, now I'm gonna need the index, so I can't do a for each. Also, yeah, what if the object hasn't been created yet? I guess, okay, this is an issue that I need to figure out, but okay, so at this point, I don't think I can guarantee that. Well, I guess I could if I made sure that the slot instantiator ran before this class, which is probably fine to guarantee. So I guess I should go ahead and make that class now. So this will be the slot updater. No, let's say, I guess slot. Let's see. Okay, we'll call it that. It'll also handle destroying, but. Okay, and this will need the lobby parameters and the flow state. No, it doesn't actually need the flow state. Thanks, Wonderful for the host. I do appreciate it. How are you doing today? Still working on some UI here. Okay, so we've got that going on. I guess here we need to match. I guess I'll just call match. I guess we'll just have another match params function here, and this will control adding or removing UIs depending on. Well, it's just going to need to match the number that's in the actual lobby parameters. So I guess I will need the player UI registry because yeah, we'll add and remove items from here. Yeah, so I don't get that in the constructor actually. This will actually be exactly the same. We'll just find this object and then call match parameters. So if registry is not null, because it could be null at this point depending on if this is called at any other, or due to any other event. If registry is not null, we will let me see. How do I want to start this? I guess we'll just need to know. Okay, let's do it this way. So number wanted is the lobby parameter slots count, and then number current is the registry items count. And then, so if number wanted is greater than number current, there's like some little magic you can do with the for loops to get rid of this if statement, but I don't know, I don't think it actually helps that much. So we want to start with for int I equals registry items. Oh wait, how would this go? So if number wanted is greater, so we'll start with number current and then we'll loop until they're equal. So until or while I is less than number wanted. Then we will instantiate a prefab, which I guess we should just add that prefab to this registry. Let me see. So public game object plot prefab. Okay, and this will be interesting because we're going to need to place it in the right order among the siblings because we'll want them to be ordered. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see. Game object created equals registry. Oh, that's not how to do it. So game object instantiate. This will be a game object as well. And the parent, which I guess will just be this registry. Is that right? That might not be correct to assume. So public transform slot parent. And if that's the case, here, this awake should check the slot parents get component. Like that. Does that work? Yeah. So there we go. The position and everything will be handled by the layout, which should update immediately, I think. We might need to call something, but well, we'll do that when time comes. So, okay, first we got that, and I've got to get... Well, I don't really need to do anything with it here, so let's do registry, items, add, created, get component, player UI elements. That takes care of that. So now I just need to sort them. I think when I added the created, it should be at the bottom, but we have that button to take care of. So probably what I should do, let me see. I'll have public game object. I guess we'll just have a header and a footer. And so we'll want to sort these above and below the items. So we have the slot parent. Let me see. There's some way. Get child count. We'll get sibling index. So I can set a sibling index, apparently. I've never actually done this. I guess I should check to make sure that there's any gotcha. The Unity set sibling index. Like I said, most objects don't care about the sorting, but the UI does, so I should check. Use this to change sibling index of the game object. If game object shares a parent, blah 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 blah. Change game object's place in the hierarchy. When sibling index is changed, order of the hierarchy window will also change. Which is when using layout group components. Layout groups will also visually reorder the group by their index. To read more about... Okay, I know that. Alright, so this doesn't seem like there's any weird things to take into account. So what I'll want to do is... So the header, I'll just want to set sibling index to 0. I guess, yeah, I should actually work with transforms instead of game objects. Not that it actually matters. I guess I can assume that the header always stays 0, but... And then... Oh, also this shouldn't be in the for loop. This should go afterwards. Actually, yeah, so this will only change if we create something. I don't really need to loop through here every time now that I think about it, because I just need to switch this index. Let me see. Registry. That's not what it is. Created. Transform. Set sibling index. Now, if this is the same index as the footer, I wonder how Unity will handle that. Also here, if there's some things already in there, I should make sure that the sibling indexes are created okay. But anyway, this would be I+1 because I have to take the header into account. And then here I just need to set the footer to the number wanted +2 because there's... Oh, let me see. So at the end, that would be... So I would actually equal number wanted for the last one. So yeah, I just need to add 1 to it. Okay, so here, let's just go ahead and initialize. So that sibling index to 0, and then for each var item in registry items. Oh, I need the index, so I can't do that. Int I equals 0, I less than registry items count. And this is just if some already exists in there from testing. In registry items I transform set sibling index I+1. And footer, set sibling index, registry items, count +1. Okay, so there we go. That should keep the sorting okay. The other option, or the other thing that can happen here, is if number current is greater than number wanted, then we need to delete some items afterwards. But I'm not going to delete them. I'm going to just... actually, we won't do it this way. I'm not going to delete anything. I'm just going to enable and disable them. But I'm going to do it like this. So if I equals 0, I less than... registry items count. So registry items I set oh yeah, so game object. Set active I is less than lobby parameter slots count. So we'll just set it inactive if there's any above this count, which is the same as hiding it in the UI. Okay, so I do that. No, I should probably... Well, okay, no. I just need to make sure this runs before anything else. So let me make a new priority for that. So most of the things will just run in the UX. So let's have UX high priority. That's fine. So yeah, this just needs to run before the UX normal. Okay, so let's go ahead and add those two classes. Lobby controller. So we'll okay, so both of these are UI classes, so I need to add them to the scene helper. Initialize UX players slot UI creator, and this is UX high priority. Oops. Initialize UX players type Dropdown manager, and this is just normal. Okay, so these will always run before that. So what is the class? Like, I don't think anything ever sends out this event, but probably the params receiver should, because it... Okay, so it did have this one, but I don't know if I actually need to have this yet. I suppose that some of the systems will need to update if the parameters change, but I don't know. So I'm not going to have like a dummy event that we'll never use, so... Oh, and they are both queued immediate, actually. So I guess I don't have to have separate things here? I already have this set up. Okay, so I really overthought that. Let me see. Oh yeah, so I have this specific... Yeah, which runs before the flow control. Okay, so... Yeah, so I don't need to have a separate one for it because it's already queued immediate. I just wanted to do that because I want to try and remove the lag frames in between when a user presses a button and the parameters change. Oops, and I was trying to rename this in a way that won't... Why won't it let me rename this? There we go. If I do it that way, then it won't break all the code. Okay, so this creator also needs to listen for the param update. Add new event, exists listener, params changed event. Let's call it match params. And player UI Dropdown manager is already updated, so it probably should set it to player, which will be a little boring because it's already set to player. Can I change? Oh, I can't change the value. So let's just change it to AI. Oh, got an error. Oh, it's just recompiling. So that will be good to go, and hopefully when I press play, this drop down will change to player. Okay, we got an error. Oh, because I haven't set up all this. So let's see, player slots. First I gotta give it the prefab and the slot parent, which is just itself, but and then the label is the header and the add slot button is the footer. Alright, let's try this one more time. Oh, okay, so the lobby has 0 slots now, so it actually just hid that. That works too, I guess. This isn't working, but if I turn this on, will it still be AI because there's no slot there? What I need to do, I think if I start from the title, it will create a default slot, which would be me, or the host. Yeah, so it did change the player. So if I add more slots in the default settings, let's just test that real quick. Initial lobby parameters. Let's just do for int I equals 0, I less. Oh, I can't do it like that because they'd set it all to me. For int I equals 0, I less than slots. Oh, that's not right. Let's just create 3 more. And these would be type new. Okay, we'll just set them all to, I guess, player. Username is null, is guest false. So these would be open for other players to connect to. Probably a good idea to have a couple right at the beginning. Okay, yeah, so it created a couple and they're all set to player. Let's see if... Yeah, it has 4 slot UIs. Well, I could name these a little better, but I don't know if it actually matters. Probably, I guess I should do it to test sorting. But yeah, we can see that so far it looks like the sorting is working. We have the header there and then the footer. And so how I do that is registry, items I, game object, name is slot plus I. And it is the same here, except... Okay, so yeah, this will just make sure it's sorted correctly. Be better for our debugging. We'll switch to scene so I can click here and... Oh, it's not going to show in the hierarchy? I thought it would automatically expand it for me. Okay, but this is sorted correctly. We've got 0, 1, 2, 3. I guess... Well, yeah, I want to make sure it's like that. And then here we can see this is also correct. So they all match up Okay, so that's good. Is there anything else I need to do here? Oh, I need to, yeah, notify when something changes. So this would be on. Oh, I would do it on the UI setup. Okay, also I need to keep track of, yeah, when there's something new created, I need to register an event listener for that. Also, okay, so this match parameters can, yeah, so this can happen when something new is created, so I need to make sure that I also set interactable. That, okay, I feel like I need to have a separate function here, so private pool is interactable, and this would just return state phase equals input. Obviously I could make this more efficient if I just cache this at the beginning, but it's fine. The reason I have to do that is because this is only called when the phase changes, but this is called when the item, this could be new, so I need to make sure I update this immediately. So private int num listeners registered. Oh, I actually did have that interactable there already, but so if I is less than, or wait, if I is greater than or equal to num listeners registered, I need to register a new listener here. Let me see. So it's item type drop down add, or what's it, on. No, that's not it. On value change. There we go. Add listener. So on value changed. Let's put this down at the bottom. And okay, and now I just need to update this counter. So we do listeners registered equals LP slots count. And again, these are never deleted. They're just hidden if we remove slots, so it should be okay. Also, yeah, I need to unregister from these, so override dispose if registry does not equal null, then for each var item in registry items. And I also should check if the item is not null because it could have been destroyed. Item does not equal null. Do I have to check if the dropdown's not null? Probably safe. And item dot type dropdown is not equal null. Then item dot type dropdown on value change remove listener on value changed. And again, I already tested that I don't have to cache this, so that makes that easier on me. Okay, so this will just be the index, and Really all I have to do is just queue an event. So events, queue, new, type, change. What is it though? Slot, type, input. So yeah, the index, the type, I also have to do bool is guessed if it's player type. Where was I? So I kind of have to do it the opposite of this one. So type, our slot type input. Oh, I also have to know. I need to know what index this is. How would I do that easily? Well, the easiest way would be to do a lambda expression, so something like this. The value, and then we do on value changed, and then I would just pass the index through like that. The problem is that makes it difficult to unregister now. So I'm wondering if there's a better way I can do it. I guess I could just look through. Well, there's no way to get the source. So now there's not an easy way to remove the listener unless I cache all these listeners or all these arguments, but I'm kind of wondering if that's even worth it, because this UI is pretty much coupled to the scene, so when this dispose is going to be called at the same time that the Unity scene is disposing, so I'm kind of, even though this is the right thing to do, it feels like it's going to be a lot more trouble than it's worth. So I think, yeah, we'll just assume that these classes will only exist, or yeah, they'll be disposed at the same time that the Unity is disposing, a Unity scene is disposing, so I don't need to worry about unregistering listeners. I feel like I should write a note about that somewhere. Let's see. UI assumes our UI manager scripts do not unregister listeners. They assume Unity scene disposes at the same time the game logic container disposes. I think this is safe to assume, but yeah, I feel like I need to write a note. So anyway, we can do it this way. So this will be the value index, and then we'll also have the slot index at the front. Next slot index. We can go ahead and pass that in. Okay, so switch value index. The type is player. The is guessed as false. I guess I don't really have to set because the default is false, but type is player, and then is guessed is true. So this is spectator. And last AI. Okay, so that's good. And for testing, I think I'll do a 2-string. Let me see. Override 2-string. String format. Slot type input. And if I can type anything here. Could make this a little prettier, but this will be fine. I want to do index first. So index, then type is guest. This basically is guest, only needs to be there for players, so I could say that this too isn't shown for non-player types, but I don't know, I'm too lazy to do an if statement. Okay, so I don't need that either. Okay, so let's test to see if that listener is working. We should see an input event go through the system. So guess it's not working, is it? Let's try this one. No, it's not doing anything. So I did, yeah, I definitely added the listener here. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm trying to see, could this be wrong? If I is greater than or equal, so this starts as 0, and then it's set to the slot count. Oh, I don't queue the event. Okay, that's a big deal. So events QE. So I just create the event, but I don't actually queue it. So that was the issue. And there we go. Slot type input, player, guest, spectator, AI. Okay, so everything looks to be good. What I need to do now, so I could keep on going and make a bunch of managers, but the problem is it's going to be hard to test anything else without having some of the systems up and running, because they should react to this, and then that would like hide these like second information bars. So I think we'll go and do a bit of the system that will watch for these. I'm trying to figure out. So for the setup lobby, we pretty much just had the input manager, which watched all the various events. I mean, we could do that, but do I want to? I mean, all it's going to be doing is just listening to the events. It's not going to do anything else, really. Well, it's going to have to validate. Well, okay, let's just start off assuming that we'll have one that will just take care of the lobby slots. That's probably a good idea. So player, slot, input, manager. And this will be a flow logic container. Alright, not capital L there. And so what will I need? I'll need the flow state And I'll need the lobby parameters. And everything else that this class is going to do is really just listening and firing off events. So we'll get the event queue and pass that up. Okay, so first of all, we'll listen to the on phase change. So new event. This listener. Change event. Okay, and then the next one is the input event. So we'll actually have to do the all events listener because we'll want to catch every instance of this event on the queue in case there's multiple. And this will be the type or slot type. Input on type input. That's all I'll need for now. Right method. I'll do it backwards so they'll be put in the right order. Let's I there. Okay, so phase change. Do I actually do anything here? Maybe not. I guess yeah. I don't think I need this actually. But I'll leave it in a second, or for a second. One thing I will need is a helper function that will be, I don't know, let's just say notify params change the void. And here I want to fire off okay, so actually this is a good point. Maybe so it needs to fire off an event that the parameters changed. And I'd like it to fire this frame. So again, I'm worried about the order that this event is fired off. Nothing actually cares about it right now except for the UI, so I think I'll just put UX here because yeah, only UX classes should listen for this event, just to be safe. If some system class needs to listen for this event, then well, no, this isn't a good idea actually. Because as soon as, yeah, whenever you have a state type event, anything like the lobby parameters, anything that changes these lobby parameters should also fire the event at the same time immediately, so that way anything that might depend on the lobby parameters gets that event before it checks anything through a tick. So yeah, I'll just need to make sure that this runs before anything else that might need it. I'm not sure what else will, but the case. This should be okay though. I guess, do I have a good ticking priority for that? Oh, I do have input actually. And it runs before the normal, but after flow control, so that's perfect. Okay, so anyway, lobby parameters. We'll just trust this. I guess we should make sure that we're in the right state though. So if state phase is input, because we don't really have to do any validation for this. Because it just passes us the enumeration. So anyway, so slot equals lobby parameters slots I dot index. Oh, I guess another thing that could happen here is this index is too big. So and I dot index greater than equal to 0, and I dot index is less than slots count. I guess we could also make sure that the enumeration is valid. Yeah, probably could do that, but I mean, do we really need to distrust the UI that much? This index I agree with checking because it could be out of sync, but I don't think I have to worry about the type quite so much. So this is I dot type, and then slot is gust. Also, this will only matter if it's a player. Okay, so then I would do notify parameters change, and again, this will queue immediately a new params change event, and also it would queue an event to send a message to the server. This doesn't have to be immediate. Yes, the send params command, but also only if we're the host. So let's not make me need to check if I'm the host or not. So we'll queue this, not immediate. Nothing listens to this? That's not right. I think it's searching for the constructor, not the type. So where is it? The param sender. Yeah, it definitely listens to the command. So I want to make sure, yeah, it checks if it's the host here, so I don't need to do it myself. I guess I could have checked to see if this is different before firing these events. So if slot does not equal I, let's do this. Slot type, I type, and slot is guess does not equal I dot. Oh, I can't do that. So bool is guest equals this. This is just, I don't know, saving a little bit. Because yeah, we don't need to fire the event if there's no change. I don't know. Okay, so let's get this working, and I should make sure that there's no flickering in the UI, because what would happen is it would do this parameters change event and the UI could change right away, but I think it's not going to do any flickering unless Unity has programmed it kind of weird. Yeah, we'll see. The lobby controller, and I just need to initialize that new class. So player slot input manager, and this will be on the input. Now does the flow, okay, so flow runs before input, but I don't think this cares about the lobby parameters, does it? No, yeah, it shouldn't. So that's good. Okay, so now the system should react to my change and then fire another event. Let's see if that happens. So if I change this to guest, we fire this slot type, and then okay, so it didn't do anything. Oh, but this is, for some reason, it's giving me a 4. Okay, so there's 2 problems here. First, I see the slot index is 4, and then also the input manager is not firing a change event back. So let's check and see what's going on there. Oh, the reason it's not firing anything back is because the index is greater than the count, because the count, or is equal to the count, because the count is 4 and the index is 4. Okay, so I think I know what's going on. It's because of the lambda here. This I variable has changed, so what I need to do, int slot index equals I. If I do this, it will freeze the value of I right here. Yeah. Sometimes these lambda expressions can be a little bit hard to understand, but what it does is it captures this variable, so that even if this variable changes after this point where this is called, the on value change would still pass the updated version. So you need to like store the current value in this variable, and then it has a local, what do they call it, local scope to this if statement. So then when you loop back through, the I, or the slot index, would not have been changed. Instead, a new variable called slot index would be created for the next lambda expression. So that should fix that issue. Okay, so now if I set this to guest, yeah, so slot in type 0. The input is still right, but it's not, the player slot input manager retrieved the event, but it's not doing anything with it. Okay, so there's something else going on. So I index greater than or equal to 0 and less than slot count. I guess the lobby parameters could have bad info. I should probably create a good debug class for this. Let's do that. Where's my debug? Testing. I had this set up lobby inspector, so I think I'll copy it, and this will just be the lobby inspector. And really we'll just want the lobby parameters right now. Okay, so if this is a lobby controller. Oh, the lobby parameters is a global thing, so it doesn't actually matter, but so I'll comment this out for now. Yeah, so lobby parameters equals game link, game context get lobby parameters. Okay, so now we should see that in the the inspector. Lobby inspector. Oh, that's the wrong one. Still compiling. I wish that there was an overlay or something that would tell you that Unity is compiling. I know there's this little wheel down here in the corner, but I can never see it. So lobby parameters must not be serializable, so I can fix that. Should not be any other issues. Let's wait until it shows up here. Okay, there we go. So we'll go back to title. And now we can check and see what is going on in the lobby parameters, which will help us debug this issue. So let's see, debug. I don't really care about the server right now. It does have 4 slots, so that's not the issue. They're all set to player with no guest, so the username is not set. That's not right. But okay, so they're definitely not updating. Okay, so I definitely set the local connection username. Let's print that out because engine debug log local connection dot username. I either forgot to set it or it's not set at that point. It seems like I would have set it by then, but okay, so let's see. Let's go back up. Oh yeah, so the username should be test username, so it should be set in here. Yeah, right here should be test username. So it's either getting erased. I know this doesn't really have anything to do with the issue that we're having right now, but okay, so yeah, it's getting set by the validation, which I guess would have to happen before we get here. So what's with this? Set to null. Receiver. Okay, so this is getting copied from what the server sends us. So maybe the server is saying that the username is null. Oh, this is wrong. So this, yeah, that's the issue, because right here, I'm saying that there's no user in the slot when this is null, or I'm saying there's a user in the slot when it's null or empty, which is not true. It's actually inverted. Okay, so let's, I think that was just the issue of why the username was showing up blank there. Because when it comes back from the server, it was being inverted. Let's check. Yeah, so now that's test username. Okay, but I mean, that doesn't fix this issue. So even though it's reacting to the input, it's not doing anything. Let's try a different... Yeah, so the index doesn't matter. What could be the issue? So we're in the input phase, that's for sure. Because right here it says lobby phase setup to input. So phase and. Oh, right. So that shouldn't be an and, that should be or. Yeah, so again, I put the wrong thing there. Alright, let's check. Now it worked. But why did the server disconnect me? Oh, because I set this slot 1 to a guest. So you shouldn't be able to do that to yourself. Yeah, you can't kick yourself. Okay, well, that's a good point. Okay, and so yeah, when I do that, it's does a bunch of stuff on the server because it changes this slot to be taken. But here at client, it queued slot type input, and then it queued a parameters change event and a send parameters command, and so then the UX reacts to that, and there was no flickering, so that's good. Message sender. Set lobby parameters. Yeah, so then the server is reacting to the change. Change this to AI. I guess we still send it to the server even though in terms of the server this hasn't actually changed. Okay, so I guess this seems to be working. So I need to make it so you can't kick yourself. You can transfer to a different slot, that's no big deal. Yeah, that's not a big deal, I don't think. Transferring, I might have to do a bit of work on the server because it's not gonna, if it sees you're not in a specific slot, it's just gonna kick you instead of reassigning you. So if it sees that there's a mismatch, it'll need to check to see if there's another spot that you could fit in. I guess that would be the difference between changing and then kicking somebody. So I guess we'll have to make the server know that difference as well. Oh, there'd probably just be a different command for that. Yeah, because if you change, so if you're here and you change this to something else, the server would try to place you in another spot that's possible. So what would happen? Okay, so I guess what would happen is yeah, so if it didn't let you, I guess if you're the host and you tried to kick yourself, the server would probably just create another slot and add you as a spectator. But we probably wouldn't want to let the client actually, or the host actually do that because, yeah, so we'd want to gray that out. So there's actually quite a bit of things to do. Yeah, so that's interesting. Let's, so we've at least got some, we've got the UI done mostly, but we want, okay, so if you, this is actually not really part of the drop down because the same system would be used for the transfer and kicking. Let me see. Okay, so server reassigning players. If a player, or let's just call it, a client is connected and the slot they were assigned is no longer valid, the server should try to assign them to any other valid slot. If the slot, or if no slot can be found, kick the client. Or let's just call it disconnect. Disconnect the client. And then I'll say if the client is the host, do not kick them. Instead, add a new spectator slot for the host. And then and then we'll need to have a special, yeah, so do not reassign. Or if you're kicking, the parameters wouldn't change, you just get a kick command. So then we'll just need the kick player command. So really, yeah, if you transfer a player, well, so we'll need to do that. Transfer player command. How do I want to do that? Because right now the server just tries to synchronize with the lobby parameters, but if you're moving a player, the slot that you leave behind might still be valid for them, but the other slot is assigned their username. So maybe the server should look for a slot that's assigned to that player. And then if it is, it would put them in there even if their current slot is still valid. So I think I'll need to do that. Maybe we should work on that soon. I guess we could get started on it. So let's see. This would just be a different command that disconnects a player. So it's different than just the lobby parameters update, even though they're kind of connected. It doesn't really matter the order that they're received, I don't think. Although I guess I think Unity guarantees that messages are received in the same order they're sent. So if a kick command's sent first, okay, then yeah, that should be safe. Because if a lobby parameter is set first, then the server might try to reassign them to another slot, so it'd be some kind of weirdness going on where the server would have assigned them a spot that they wouldn't own anymore. But yeah, we'll see about that. So transfer, server should look to see if a player has a slot reserved for them before assigning for I guess taking an open slot, even if they have already been assigned a slot. Okay, so I guess when you transfer, what that will look like is you click or you transfer to a slot and the game would move that to another slot. Move that to another slot and just copy everything over there. And if it was an open slot that just had a player in it, that username would also be reserved for them in that slot. And so when the server saw that, it would reconfigure the connections and update that. Okay, so I think that'll be fine. Let me see. With that in mind, we'd probably want to have a none drop down. I just realized. Or a none option on the drop down, because when you transfer a player, it'll probably just leave the slot that they were in as none, and then you would just fill that in. We can probably just call it closed, but what am I looking for? Yeah, this. So actually move it to the top. I don't know if I really have to spell that out, but yeah, this is temporary, so now I'm gonna need to shift around some stuff in here, although it's my own fault. I really just need to add one to all this, and then we'll just return 0. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then default case. Not decimal, it always does that. Okay. So anyway, down here on the server, this is where it does everything trying to match clients to their slots. And then the connection validator, what's it called? This just assigns a new connection to an open slot, so it can basically stay how it is. Although I think it does already search, yeah, if there's a slot specifically for our users, that's how we want that to work. One thing, okay, I think I might finally decouple the client ID or client index from the slot index, but I'm not sure how much trouble that will be. Because right now, if I wanted to keep them coupled, then I'd have to look through, or I'd have to like rearrange this list whenever a user is changed. Which I guess could work, but it seems like it's gonna cause some bugs. So I need to like, this will be a kind of difficult to do. So let's just take the slot index here. Let's rename this even to like lobby slot index. So let's see. Okay, that's for connections. So connections can stay. We want to name this to lobby slot state. Well, they don't match. Well, I guess they do, because they're either filled or not. Okay, so now I'm going to need to look through every time this is used. I can't do it that way. I need to... Yeah, let's rename this from slots. So this will just be active now. Okay, so I'm going to need to look through everything here because it used to assume that the client is the same. I should probably have a helper. Let's see, so public int get client for lobby slot. Oh, this is confusing. For each var client and client's active, if client dot lobby slot index equals lobby slot will return, also return null. Okay, so here I'll rename this to lobby slot, and I'll need to check anything that uses this. Thankfully, I think most of the classes that send something to a specific lobby slot do use this client or this helper. Okay, so this should change to get client or lobby slot. Hopefully this won't cause too many bugs changing this, but it's been something in the back of my mind for a while. I should have, when I was updating the server code, just done it. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, so I guess I should check anything that uses this. Okay, ready, check received event, so it received. So the client slot, I need to send to lobbies are send to client. Okay, so this is actually different. So that's fine. And then public void send to lobby slot. I kind of messed this up. Okay, so this would go like that, except probably. Okay, let's actually just return an integer here. So return -1. Okay, now I need the index. So for int I less than client's active count. Okay, so this isn't a lobby slot, this is just client index. Okay, and now also I just realized probably I should make the client's indexes be permanent. So instead of having this be a list, it should just be a dictionary like this. Oh. Am I still live? Okay, I think I'm good. I don't know what's going on with the music. Okay, yeah, so this will be a dictionary. I might as well just go all out, change it. So yeah, these client indexes will be constant, and once a client disconnects and is destroyed, or the index will never be reused. What's going on there? Oh, I need to use new. Probably a good idea. Anyway, so back to this. So yeah, I can't use count here. So I guess I'll go back to a for each. For index in client. No, I guess I will want the pair. So in clients active. So if the pair the value, then we return the key. Okay, so int index equals get client for lobby slot. Okay, and then if index is greater than or equal to 0, then we'll call send to client. Okay, so now I just want the values here. So client active values. And disconnect. So this will just be the client slot. If I want to do a lobby slot, or deal with that later. So client equals clients active client index. We will want to disconnect a lobby slot, but I think that will know the client by that point. So anyway, it's here, here, and here. This is the lobby flow. We're sending a ready check back to whatever this event was. So ready check 2 slot. We actually want to send it to a client. So when is this? The client slot. Okay, so it's the connection. Yeah, so let's rename this to client. Yeah, just client, because it's the index. Yeah, so we're decoupling it from the lobby, which should be okay. I didn't think when we were dealing with ready checks that it really matters. There might be some issues down the line we'll just have to test. So this is fine. This is just all ready checks. And really it's just sending the client or the message back to the client. Okay. This is all just sending ready check. So I do want to rename this to just send ready check to client instead of sending it to a slot. Okay, so I think that looks all fine. I guess I should check this disconnect. So simple loadout. So we're disconnecting. Okay, so I can't check it like that. And then also here, same type of thing. So I need to, yeah, every time I loop through clients, I need to switch to using the dictionary. So for each var pair and clients active. So client be pair dot value. Okay, so this is one thing I need to check. So this received checks instead of slots. It should be okay. So I do need to update this, but we'll get to that. Received from the int index equals pair key. And disconnect index. I guess we'll do the same thing in the timeout manager because I think it's working the same way. Okay, and then this has received from. This is just a helper class that collects messages received from all the different clients. So I have a list. Really, I guess I should use a dictionary now. Because it'll be the client index, and then we receive this from them. Received equals new, and I think this will be fine, really. So if this count doesn't help, I need to actually check every client now. Not really going to be much more difficult. So for each var index in clients active keys. Okay, so if so it wants to remove some for clients that are inactive. Do I want to do that here? I can't. Oh, I guess we could just go backwards. So it's fine. So here we'll check to see if received. Oh, I shouldn't have deleted that actually. Just to keep it around in case I need it. Okay. So if received contains key index is false, then received add new receive. And then we'll do the same thing except the other way around. So for each var index and received keys, if clients, oh, I can't do it like this because it's going to, it can't modify this list while I'm iterating through it. Okay, so private list int remove helper. Okay, so if clients contains or active dot contains key index is false, then we'll set remove helper, or we'll add this index to it. And then for each var index and remove helper, received remove index. And then we'll clear the remove helper. And then this is going through to make sure that if there's no connection with this client, then we clear out the message that was passed to it. So again, I need to do a for each instead. The for each var client in, oh, I do need the index, so pair in clients active int I equals pair key. Oh, I guess I don't need it, I just need the key. So var I in clients active keys, that works. So yeah, if this is, well, I guess I could have returned this, but it doesn't really matter. ID is less than 0, so if there's no connection with this client, then we would remove our previous message. So I'm looping through clients active again. I guess I should instead loop through everything in the received message. So for each var r and received values, that's equivalent. And I can't do this. I should see if received contains key slot. Then we'll do that. Okay, let's invert this. Okay, so now it's going to loop through every client. What's not like about that? Oh, I need to do values. Okay, so clients active dot count. I can't loop through it like that. But I do need the index, so it'd be var pair in clients active. So var I equals pair key, and then this is the pair value. Okay, so now I think this is the same. And then down here would again looping like this, but this is pretty easy. Client array, I actually could just do, oh well no, because it's everything that's received, so for each var I and clients active keys, so if we received something from it, then we add that here. Okay, so that's already up to date. I guess I should see where else we use this active. I'll need to check anytime Yeah, so I need to update the lobby match. And still quite a bit. Not a whole lot, but okay. So when I add a new client, okay, I'm surprised that it even lets me do that because there's no key associated with it. So I need the connection ID is given to me by Unity. So I'm gonna need to keep track of the client index somewhere. So let's just do, I need to, oh, we're running low on time. Actually, we're over. Okay, well, we'll just leave that. Let me write a note. Okay, so finish updating clients dot active to separate client index from lobby slot index. So I'll just say find all usages, then convert from list to dictionary. Okay, so yeah, we'll keep on doing this. I think luckily it doesn't seem to be very many scripts that rely on the slot being the same as the client, so that's good. But I'll do that tomorrow, and we'll probably finish doing the server stuff so that way we'll actually be able to test this information. So thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I really appreciate it. Feel free to follow me here on Twitch or on my Twitter if you'd like to be notified when I go live. I also have a YouTube channel where I post old videos if you'd like to catch up or to see how the game used to look. And then I have a Discord server where you can chat with me throughout the day. I'd love to have you. But I'll put links in chat, or you can check out the video description if you're watching from YouTube. But yeah, I think that's it. So have a great day, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.